How's it going, guys and gals? So I want to talk about the Uvalde, Texas shooting that happened weeks ago. Why did I wait a few weeks? Because I just wasn't sure if I want to do this video, but it's just kind of like an itch, right? You have an itch and you just want to attend to it and just keep thinking about it because there's some things that are not being mentioned. People are talking about laws, but I wanted to kind of go in more in depth. I don't know how long this video is going to be, so and if I start darting back and forth, my apologies, but there's a lot to go into. So first and foremost, I want to I want to give my condolences and prayers to the victims and their families. Very unfortunate would be an understatement of situation what happened. I have a daughter myself, and I can't imagine the amount of sorrow and pain that they're going through. That being said, there's a couple things I want to talk about. I think one thing that it's kind of being glossed over. Everyone's talking about laws and what we can do to modify these potential gun laws, which I'm going to get into in a second, like I said. But one thing that's being glossed over is the root of the problem. Anytime I tackle a problem and I see a problem, and I try to look at the root of the problem, and I give you an example. If you have a person that has a real bad temper, right, and they have a fist, right, I'm making a fist, right, closed fist, they start just punching people, right? They're punching, getting a lot of fights, and they're just beating the living crap out of people. Is the fist the problem? I mean, in third world countries, I'd heard that if you steal something, you shoplift, whatever hand you have, they will cut it off. I don't know if that's true. If that may be a little bit too extreme. Now, you could do that, right? You could, put some type of clamp on the fist or something, but that kind of just doesn't solve the root of the problem. What would be the root of the problem if someone constantly punching someone else? You guessed it, right? Person probably has some deep-rooted anger problems. Could be anxiety, a combination of things, yada, yada, yada. But it's in right here, and that's what the media is not really talking about, is mental health. No amount of laws would prevent a crazy person from committing something like this. Now, you could put gun-free zones, armed guards, metal detectors. You can arm the teachers, which I want to get into in a little bit about what solutions that I believe in. You could do that, but if someone's crazy in the head, I think they're going to commit that crime. And if you make the gun illegal, make it harder to get, there's still going to be a black market. I mean, prostitution's been around forever. There's a black market. What's the other one? War on drugs. It's a joke, right? There's a black market for it. Just like with guns, there's a black market. Just because you put all these, no, I'm not saying I'm against it, so, because I'm going to get into that later on in the video, but you could do that. But what's going to stop a kid if you don't fix the root of the problem? If they're mentally unstable, they might not do it at the school, but what makes you think what's going to prevent them from doing it at a local park? I have a beautiful park right by my house. What makes you think they won't do it in an open parking lot at a mall? They can, and it's been done. What makes you think they won't do it at a movie theater? It's been done. So I truly believe that mental health aspect is being kind of downplayed in favor of laws. I'm going to put it out there. Now let's talk about laws. Some people suggest that they want to raise the age from 18 to 21. I'm not 100% against it, but I think the one problem I do have is there's a lot of things that need to be put out in more detail for me because things need to make sense for me, and it should for you too, before you take a certain stance on any topic. If they change gun laws to make it harder for a kid to get a weapon, that's one thing. But if it infringes upon me to get my gun and makes it harder for me to get a gun, a law-abiding citizen, then that's where I kind of have a problem. I mean, let's say you are young, you're 18 or 19, and you're like, oh, I want to eventually get a gun because I live in a bad neighborhood and my neighbor across the street or in the apartment complex across just got robbed. I want to get a gun. I don't have a criminal history. I have a clean background. I have a full-time job. I pay my taxes. Yada yada yada. You want to get a gun, and then a shooting occurs, and then they modify and change the law, and all of a sudden now you can't assert your Second Amendment right because some asshole, some psychotic maniac who's got a mental disorder went and shot a bunch of kids, and now it's going to make it harder for me to get a gun. I have to wait 2 more years, and now my life is in danger. That's where I have part of the problem. Now let's say if it does change from 18 to 21, will that be enough to deter a mentally ill person from committing that crime? You would hope so, and I would love that, right? Let's say the person's 18 and they're like, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna commit this, I'm gonna shoot everybody, blah 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 blah. They're gonna say that. The law passes, and then oh man, I can't get a gun at 21. They go to the black market, or they have time to think about it, and now they're 19, they're out of high school. Okay, maybe I won't do it. Maybe I've wised up. That's the optimistic side of me. But I feel like if someone's even on the verge of doing it, they really need help. And are they gonna just do a 180 and change their mind because a law changed? I don't want to be a pessimist, but based on my gut feeling, if you don't fix the mental health aspect, they're still going to do it. They might not be 18, they could be 19, they could be 20, and they could still get a gun illegally. Another thing I wanted to mention, this is very, very important, which I believe to be the case, is I think a lot of these kids that are doing this, a lot of this has to do with, and to me, and you won't hear this from politicians, because politicians always want to purposely create problems and try to be the savior, be your savior, when in reality, a lot of the problems that we have, and I can only speak for America, is the destruction of the household. Statistically, correct me if I'm wrong, about 40% across the board of kids nowadays are born out of wedlock, meaning you're not married, right? They're not married, they're separated. That's 40%. Among blacks, it's about 70% out of wedlock, which is insane. And with the whites, it's been upticked to like 25 or 30%, but on average, it's about 40%. When you don't have a 2-parent household, and not all parent, just because you have 2 parents doesn't mean that's going to be pure bliss. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that there's a higher likelihood and a bigger probability that when you have a 2-parent household, a male and a female, a nice blend of yin and yang. Excuse me, somebody was walking by. Yin and yang, you have that nurturing, typically the nurturing side of the mother, the more stern, strict when you need to be a father, and you have that yin and yang. And this destruction of this household, to me, when you have single dads, single moms, it's a huge problem, right? That is a huge problem that we have to fix as society. Now, I don't even know about this shooter. I didn't do that much as detail about it. I know about what happened, obviously, but as far as all of the profiles of these shooters, I guarantee you that there's a good chance that a lot of them come from single-family homes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even if not, I bet you there's some major disruption or what am I looking for? The word I'm looking for, unstable environment amongst all these people. Whether they're divorced, they have workaholic parents, they're not being instilled these values. Because I know for a fact, no matter how many video games I play, how many violent video games I play, I don't play that much when I was young, no matter how many games I play, no matter how many toy guns I have, no matter how much violent movies I watch, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone back in the 80s, whatever, 90s, no matter how many violent crap I watch, I know that I am not going to go and commit heinous crimes because I have values, right? That's just the facts. So the media just blaming it on video games and this and that, that's all fluff. It could be a small percentage, but it's not the vast majority of the blame pie, so to speak. So I want to get that off my chest. As far as 10 minutes in this video, as far as the solutions regarding modification, or in terms of immediate safety for kids, metal detectors, you could do that. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Maybe some armed guards on campus, that could help. Some people suggest, did I mention earlier in the video, I can't remember, about arming teachers. This one, I need to have a little bit more detail because, first off, I think if they want to do it, they should make it voluntary, because the last thing you want to do is have someone who doesn't even comfortable handling a gun have a gun. Another thing is, how many teachers are going to want to do it? I think there'll be some that will, but for the amount of pay that they get, no disrespect, and I don't blame them, right? They have to teach and they have to potentially be in a life-threatening situation. Some people don't want to do it, and I totally understand. That's why you should make it voluntary. If they do make it voluntary and it does pass, then I think these teachers have to get extensive, training, not just one time, not a one and done. Firearm safety, it has to be renewed every, month, couple of months. You should be getting target practice, constant stuff, and situational awareness, and do drills constantly to where it becomes second nature. I think that would help, because a lot of these criminals, they don't look at it as like, oh, I'm going to serve 3 years. I think what'll prevent them is not more laws, but deterrence is key. Deterring. Is it enough for, if a shooter goes, okay, well, now they have armed guards, there's metal detectors, the teachers are armed, maybe that'll deter them from preventing the crime, at least at the school. Now, like I said, if you don't fix the root of the problem and the mental health, I think they're gonna still commit the crime. And last but not least, before I depart, for 12 minutes you made it this far in this video, thank you very much. I want to point this out because you want to put everything into context, and I don't want to say what I'm going to say, make it sound like I'm insensitive. Some people may take it that way, but I like to try to, when I analyze something, take the emotion out of the equation, try to be as objective as possible. It's, when you hear someone say, oh, if you're going to make a decision, make sure you sleep on it, right? You want to clear your mind. You don't want to be too emotional, and that's why I took a few weeks to think about what I want to say in this video. But statistically speaking, in terms of child deaths by mass shootings, it's not an epidemic. I once again, I am not downplaying even one death at all. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in terms of context. Since and this is from the CDC, from the year 2000 to 2015, at the high end it was 30 a year, and it goes down to 5 or 6, so it averages out to about 10 or 15 a year or something like that. Now, there's a lot of shootings in general, but I'm talking about in terms of just children. Now, to put that into context, every year over 3,000 kids die from, right here in the car accidents. Much higher. Drownings. So if you have a swimming pool, there's a higher likely chance of your kid drowning in the pool than dying from foul play from a gun. I'm just pointing it out there. Suicide is higher, much higher than shootings, and suffocation also, which is rare, but it's still statistically higher than shootings. So does this mean we have to ban all swimming pools? Do we have to ban all types of toys? Do we have to ban cars? Do we have to? No, I think when those incidences happen, they are unfortunate, but the common denominator between all those unfortunate situations is you got a lot of stupid ass parents, right? Not paying attention to your kid when they're swimming. Stupid. You get the stupid label on your forehead, right? You have a gun, right? I'm for Second Amendment. You don't have it locked up. You don't have a code on it. Stupid, right? Not paying attention when you're driving with the kid in general. Just not paying attention. Stupid, right? So that's a lot to digest. I know if you made this far, I really appreciate it. thanks for listening, and that's all I got to say. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. Some people are afraid to get canceled, this and that. I don't care. If you want to share what your thoughts are and you're too shy, you can just email me at censor13@gmail.com. Just let me know that you sent it to me because I barely check it, or through my Facebook, facebook.com/censor103. That's my time. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Bye.